California geography looks like an ordinary mix of beaches, mountains, and modern cities. Most people drive right over the evidence every single day. Huge Ice Age secrets hide just below the pavement. Construction crews uncover massive bone beds under city streets. Erosion reveals island giants turning into tiny dwarfs. The fossil record here does not sit still. Scientists are pulling new pieces out of the ground today. We are counting down the top 10 wildest Ice Age fossil discoveries in California. From desert camels to urban predators, the ground holds impossible clues. The number one spot changes how an entire family tree gets built. This list tracks the most extreme discoveries verified by researchers. Let's begin. Fact number 10. Mastodon bones spark timeline. Fight highway projects usually just move ordinary dirt, but a 1992 Caltrans project hit something else. Workers uncovered broken mastodon bones alongside large cobbles. That extinct animal is Mammoth americanum. The excavated bones showed clear impact-style fractures. This alone is not crazy. Breakage happens, but the age changes everything. Researchers used uranium-thorium dating methods on the materials. The result? They placed the site at about 130,700 years old. That number is staggering. It is over 100,000 years older than most migration models. Standard models usually sit in the 15,000 to 23,000 year range, which means this creates a massive chronological gap. Some researchers suggested the rocks were hammerstones. They argued hominins used anvils to break bones for marrow. Yet most archaeologists completely reject that idea. The site lacks any verified stone tools or flakes. It also lacks clear cut marks. Cut marks are thin slice lines from sharp edges. Flakes are pieces struck from stone during tool making. Instead, many experts argue that natural sediment weight caused the breaks. Sediment loading means heavy mud piled up and crushed the bones. Heavy animals trampling the ground can also fracture ribs. The intense debate remains open today. The bones still sit in museum collections under review. Researchers continue to study the fracture mechanics right now. Fact number 9. Giant mammoths shrink very fast. Mammoths were massive land animals. Mainland Colombian mammoths weighed about 10 tons. That equals the massive weight of 5 full-size pickup trucks. But fossils on the northern Channel Islands show something completely different. The pygmy mammoth stood only about 4 feet tall at the shoulder. Its scientific name is Mammuthus extilis. It weighed about 1 ton, which means there was a 90% drop in total body mass. These tiny mammoths lived exclusively on Santa Cruz, Santa Rosa, and San Miguel Islands. Their ancestors likely swam the 4 to 6 miles of open water they crossed during low sea level periods. Then the ocean rose. The result? They got trapped. Islands feature limited land and scarce vegetation. Smaller bodies require fewer daily calories to survive, so the animals shrank rapidly over successive generations. Studies suggest full dwarfism happened in just 5,000 to 10,000 years of isolation. 5,000 years is roughly the time from early bronze tools to today. That is an incredibly fast evolutionary change for a large mammal. A complete skeleton discovered in 1994 helps scientists study these proportions today. Researchers also found tusks dated to about 80,000 years old. The islands still exist as an active natural laboratory right now. Erosion continues to expose new ancient fossils along the cliffs. Fact number 8. Ancient DNA flips. Camel history. Camels usually make people think of African or Asian deserts. The Mojave Desert looks like a landscape built for coyotes and bighorn sheep. Yet researchers keep finding bones from an extinct western camel across California. This species is known scientifically as Camelops histernus. These animals stood up to 10 feet tall. 10 feet equals 2 average refrigerators stacked vertically together. Older shape-based studies linked these camels closely to South American llamas. Morphology trees relied heavily on skull shape and limb proportions, but a 2015 study extracted ancient DNA directly from Camelops bones. That genetic data changed the entire family tree. The study indicated Camelops was actually a sister lineage to Old World camels. Those are the Camelus species located in Africa and Asia. It also placed their evolutionary divergence between 7 and 11 million years ago. 7 million years is far older than the first human cities. This suggests the camel family evolved deep ancestral roots in North America first. They likely migrated westward to Asia across the Barinia land connection. Scientists still run new genetic tests on these desert fossils. The museum collections remain highly active data sources today. A simple desert bone completely rewrote global mammal history. Fact number 7. Giant bear built for speed. Most living bears are built for immense power and digging. They typically look bulky and move slowly, but the La Brea tar pits produce skeletons of the giant short-faced bear. This extinct species is formally called Arctodus simus. Careful measurements show this bear had unusually elongated hind limbs. Long rear legs usually generate a much longer running stride. The bear stood about 11 to 12 feet tall on its hind legs. That height easily touches a standard room ceiling. Biomechanical studies estimate this massive predator could reach speeds over 40 miles per hour. Modern grizzlies usually max out around 25 to 30 miles per hour, so this extinct bear was significantly faster. The skeleton lacks the strong joint angles needed for heavy tree climbing. Evidence indicates it was primarily a cursorial predator. Cursorial means its body adapted to run efficiently across open ground. It likely chased down large prey like Ice Age horses and camels. Over 100 distinct individuals have been pulled from the asphalt deposits. This indicates it was a common apex predator. The sticky tar continues to seep in Los Angeles today. Researchers still analyze these long leg bones to understand ancient hunting strategies. Fact number 6. Saber cats took massive damage. Saber-toothed cats are globally famous for their giant upper canine teeth. People often picture Smilodon fatalis as a very careful ambush hunter, but fossil bone injuries tell a much more violent and chaotic story. Over 1,700 Smilodon skulls and bones from La Brea show severe trauma patterns. One major analysis looked at 35,000 individual bones to track these specific injuries. That many bones would easily fill an entire large room. The fossils show frequent devastating fractures in shoulders, backs, and ribs. These are classic high-impact physical injuries. The cats actively hunted massive prey like bison, horses, and young mammoths. Smilodon weighed about 500 to 800 pounds. Their chosen prey often weighed twice that much. Some reached up to 1,600 pounds. Wrestling a huge animal requires incredibly close contact and tackling. The heavy prey would thrash and crush the cat against the hard ground. Severe microwear on their slicing carnassial teeth also indicates they chewed very tough hide. Yet many of these shattered skeletal bones fully healed. That means the cats survived these brutal tackles and somehow kept hunting. These severely injured bones sit securely in museum collections right now. They indicate life was incredibly dangerous. Fact number 5, massive sloth, hides wetland clues, Anza Borrego Desert State Park looks like dry scrubland today. Yet paleontologists found a nearly complete Shasta ground sloth skeleton hiding there. This specific extinct animal was absolutely huge. It measured about 9 to 10 feet long. It weighed over 550 pounds. That massive bulk makes it heavier than most large street motorcycles. When fully reconstructed, it stood over 10 feet tall. The preserved skeleton features massive heavy claws and specialized peg-like teeth. Peg teeth are biologically built for grabbing and grinding thick, tough plants. The heavy claws were likely used to physically pull down thick tree branches. This anatomical evidence points to a huge geographical problem. A 550-pound heavy plant eater cannot possibly survive in a harsh, dry desert. The scientific key is the dirt itself. The skeleton was buried deep in ancient lakebed sediments. those fine mud sediments formed underwater between 13,000 and 40,000 years ago. Water once pooled continuously in this basin and supported a lush green wetland. The harsh desert we see today completely hides a radically different Ice Age ecosystem. Erosion slowly destroys these dry Badlands hills, but that exact same erosion actively exposes new ancient fossils every single year. Scientists physically scan these dry washes today. Fact number 4. Island mammoth break size rules. Mammoths found on the Channel Islands are usually quite tiny. They evolved into recognized pygmy forms over many thousands of years. But a National Park Service biologist spotted a very different kind of skull. It was eroding straight from a steep stream bank in 2014. Teams carefully excavated the nearly complete skull on Santa Rosa Island in 2016. They affectionately nicknamed the huge fossil Larry. This specific skull caused a major scientific puzzle. Larry was simply too large to be a normal pygmy mammoth. Yet it was noticeably smaller than a typical mainland Columbian mammoth. Mainland mammoths reached 14 feet tall. This strange intermediate size strongly suggests a very complicated population history. Charcoal found near the skull reliably dated it to about 13,000 years ago. During the last glacial maximum, lower sea levels shrank the ocean water gap. The distance dropped to about 4 to 6 miles. The strange intermediate size implies that mammoths crossed that water multiple separate times. There was likely no single isolated arrival event. Multiple successive waves of full-sized mainland mammoths likely swam over. This completely changes the standard island isolation story. Stream banks on the island continue to actively erode right now. More bones could wash out tomorrow. Fact number 3, Urbantar hides massive lions. Modern African lions are universally recognized as huge apex predators, but Ice Age California supported a massive cat about 25% larger. The extinct American lion heavily dominated the coastal region. Its scientific name is Panthera atrox. Scientists found a spectacular, nearly complete skeleton during the Project 23 excavations at La Brea. This intact skeleton helped experts refine exact body measurements. The giant cat stretched up to 11.5 feet long. Its muscular shoulders stood well over 4 feet high. That height is taller than a standard home kitchen counter. The skeleton showed incredibly massive, thick limbs and powerful crushing jaws. It uniquely blended lion-like features with heavier, jaguar-like body proportions. It also completely lacked a traditional mane. The thick limb bones suggest it was a highly robust ambush hunter. It likely tackled heavy megafauna instead of running them down across open plains. Over 100 distinct American lion individuals have been pulled from these sticky asphalt deposits. That unusually large sample size helps experts study exact population body proportions. These incredible fossils sit right under the busy streets of Los Angeles. Museum labs process these exact bones continuously today. Fact number 2, one pit holds 4,000 wolves. Normal wild ecosystems contain many plant herbivores and very few apex predators. Predators usually make up strictly under 5% of total animal mass. The La Brea tar pits flip that natural ratio completely upside down. In some rich deposits, carnivores reach 40 to 50% of all recovered animals. The extinct dire wolf is the most overwhelmingly common species. Its formal name is Anoscion dirus. These heavy wolves weighed about 150 pounds. That roughly equals the weight of a large motorcycle engine block. Pit 91 is the most scientifically extreme example of this imbalance. Excavations there originally started way back in 1913. Workers manually pulled over 18,000 dire wolf bones from that single sticky pit. Studies accurately estimate those clustered bones represent at least 4,000 individual wolves. That creates the absolute highest known predator density of its specific kind. Modern wild wolf packs usually hold fewer than a dozen total animals. Pit 91 holds, the exact equivalent of hundreds of full packs stacked together. They clearly hunted in highly social groups. One trapped herbivore would attract an entire pack, and many would quickly get stuck. This trap operated steadily between 30,000 and 40,000 years ago. New analytical methods extract fine details from these dense bone piles today. Fact number 1. Construction accident, rescues. Entire ecosystem. A museum underground parking garage project in 2006 changed Los Angeles paleontology forever. Construction workers digging near the museum suddenly hit massive fossil-bearing asphalt deposits. Instead of blindly destroying them, crews executed a massive emergency rescue mission. They carefully excavated 16 huge deposits. They packed them securely into 23 giant wooden boxes. These sealed boxes hold rich material dating from about 35,000 to 45,000 years ago. That is roughly 30,000 years older than the very first Egyptian pyramids. This ongoing collection is officially called Project 23. It functions exactly like a second La Brea stored safely above ground. Scientists have already pulled tens of thousands of individual specimens from it. They also collected exactly 327 heavy buckets of dense matrix. Matrix is the sticky tar and surrounding sediment mixture. Technicians carefully wash this dirty matrix through very fine metal screens. They find tiny insects, small seeds, and tiny vertebrates that older digs completely missed. They even found a spectacularly near-complete Columbian mammoth they affectionately named Zed. The interested public watches scientists physically open these untouched boxes in the museum right now. Completely unseen Ice Age fossils see the light of day every single week. California geography is highly deceptive. The ground beneath our feet is actively moving. It is deeply fractured and packed with wild biological history. Every highway cut or city parking garage has the distinct potential to completely rewrite evolutionary models. From dwarf mammoths stranded on tiny offshore islands to massive extinct bears sprinting across ancient basins, the past is radically different than the present. These exact sites continue to yield extremely valuable data. Paleontologists, geneticists, and geologists actively extract new scientific clues from these California locations every single day. The deepest layers of the Golden State remain wide open for active discovery,